Hello, we're back and we have our first guest, Dr. Allan Hedberg, and he's written a wonderful book that we're going to hear about this morning. Welcome to
Thank
the
you.
show.
Nice to be with you too, yes.
And tell us about your book.
You know, it is a wonderful book. I was looking at it today as I was preparing to come, and I said, you know, this is not too bad of a book. I'm glad I wrote this thing. You know, after you write a book, you kind of forget about it because you go on to other projects,
Right.
and you kind of say, okay, that's past and it's over. So I pulled it out and looked at it and read several chapters. I says, you know, I didn't do too bad of a job. So anyway, why'd I write it? It's a topic that's important to us. You know, we live in a world of stress, and my book is how do you live healthy in the context of a stressful life and a stressful community and a stressful nation, you know, and a stressful time in our life.
Tell me.
You know, we are. You know, nation, we've had stresses all our life. As a nation, it's different phases, different things stress people, different events come into our existence, we have to deal with. But, you know, so stress is always there. You don't eliminate it. You never do that. But you can manage it better.
Right.
And when you manage the stress better, you manage your health better. I mean, that's the connection. And that's what I try to show in the book, that if you can handle the areas of your life that you have to deal with and that are just some of the natural stresses that come on, some are unusual stresses you have to deal with, and hopefully you never have to deal with them again, but you do.
Right.
But if you can manage that kind of level of stress, then your life is healthy, your life is a little more effective, and you live a little happier life.
Well, you know, it says doctor there, so are you a medical doctor?
I'm a psychologist.
You're a psychologist.
And a clinical psychologist, and in one of the areas that psychology deals with, and I do maybe more than others, is the area of healthcare. And, you know, I've worked with a lot of people in various health conditions. I've consulted in nursing homes and with the Alzheimer's patients and, you know, aging. And, of course, I've handled people with illnesses as well as disabilities of various kinds. So healthcare has been one of the areas of interest and specialization that I've had over the years of some 45, 50 years of practice. And so it's an important topic, you know, to me, but it's an important topic to my patient population and to our readership there.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Do you find that there's a big difference in the health care between children and maybe men and women?
Well, it's a very interesting question. Yes, it is. Our children today are not as healthy as children of the past. We live a much more sedentary life. Kids sit. They aren't as active. You know, they don't exercise. You know, so weight is an issue.
Oh.
Okay, so then it's not just weight, but it's the buildup of cholesterol, and it's the whole heart functioning. You know, and it's going to show itself in the long range. You know, it doesn't show up itself in childhood necessarily, but it will in the life of that child as that child gets older. So the health care with children is, we have to look at it differently than we did in the past. We have to motivate kids. We have to create situations for children to be active and to live a much healthier life and to select foods that are healthier than what ordinarily they might eat, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, children certainly. Men and women is a different matter. Women do pretty well when it comes to health care and taking care of their own health. Women kind of come on top of the pile. I think women have been educated, and I think women take a responsibility for their family, for their children, and their health care, so they take a better interest in their own. So children do quite well. The problem is men. Men don't study health. Men don't read about health. Men are invincible. So we believe, okay?
Oh, yes.
You know, and men are macho, you know, that we're not going to succumb to something like an illness,
Right.
you know, something like, you know, a stress level that's going to come to us. We always think we can handle it, you know. We're bigger than our stresses. We always think that.
Oh, yes.
And but sometimes the stresses are really bigger than we are. And that's the hard thing to come to terms with. Men don't go to doctors. You know, men don't eat necessarily a healthy diet. Men don't become active for the purpose of health.
Right.
Become active for the purpose of sports, your own interests, but not necessarily for the purpose of health. So men don't live a kind of a healthy, driven lifestyle. Women do, children don't either.
I think the men actually fight it
Well, that's a good way of saying it.
My husband lives on sugar. He lives on it, and it doesn't bother him. He's very healthy. I said, what is going on? How long is this going to last that you can keep eating on sugar and stuff like before something happens?
In my book, I have a chapter on why men die before women. Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting little story. In my block where I live, there are 22 homes. Mm-hmm. 12 of the homes are widows. Mm-hmm. The men have died, and the women remain. Mm-hmm. You go to the nursing homes, they're primarily women, 70% women. So you look at the nation, men tend to die before women. And why is that? Well, I just said, men don't take care of themselves. Men are not committed to a life of health. And they think they can handle it, as you say, become very belligerent to that, and are much more vulnerable, to ill health and to serious ill health, which then does them in. So we have a national problem of men dying before women. It's unfortunate. It's sad, but it happens.
That's for sure. Well, I know that I had a time where I got getting heavier and heavier. I got up to 185 pounds, and I'm like a little person, And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to get rid of this now." So I put myself on my own diet. I just under 10 grams of sugar and cut down on the carbs and start eating good things. And it didn't take me long to get down. I'm down to about 143 now. It
happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
See, what I do in this book, I try not to deal with diet necessarily, other than there are some good ways of eating.
Right.
And there are some things that you can do less of, as you say, like sugar. But it's the lifestyle that you live. It's the activity level that you live. Right. It's the maintaining the stress level. It's getting adequate sleep. It's maintaining a social calendar and an activity level so that you feel good about yourself and that you want to be healthy, to engage in life, engage in the social exchanges of life that you're a part of. So it's lifestyle that is primarily the thing that keeps you healthy, or doesn't keep you healthy. I mean, that's really the point. It's not necessarily living the diet, but it's living the lifestyle.
Well, right now we're in the me generation, which makes it hard because people are not aware of people around them. So, they're going around and the kids with their machines and stuff.
Sure.
And I think you need the support of people around you. I think people ought to be helping each other instead of ignoring each other.
Well, there's a phrase, and I deal with it in one of my chapters too. There's a phrase that we caught several years back. Friends make good medicine.
Yes.
And, friendships are very important, to maintaining our health. But they're particularly important when it comes to experiencing some form of ill health or some unfortunate experience in your life where your health is at risk. Right. So we have to maintain friends because friends help us have motivation to improve or to get healthy again or to get well again.
Right.
You see? And, we need that encouragement. We need that cheerleader in our life. And if we don't have that, we don't get well, or we only get half well. We're half well, half sick, and it doesn't really go so well. But, friends really are the things that we need. Everybody's thought, this idea that if you have people in your life that understand you when you're going through tough times, that's all you need. But, it isn't that. It's that people in your life that have gone through what you're going through are more helpful.
Yes.
And more encouraging. Now, they might have gone through it and succeeded and overcome something, or they're going through it now. But we like people who experience what we're experiencing.
Right.
As misery loves company, but it's not true. That's not true. Misery likes miserable company. We like the people who have experienced the misery that we're going through.
Right.
Because they know what we're dealing with. They know what we're talking about. It's the old AA kind of concept for Alcohol Anonymous, that you understand each other. So you can be helpful to each other. And it's the same thing in all health.
It even comes down to going to the gym or something. If you have a friend or two that want to go to the gym and do exercises, they're going to keep trying to
You're more likely to go.
Yeah, because they're going to be after you. Come on, it's fun, it's good for you.
You're much more likely to participate if you have a partner. Now, we know that in weight control. It's going to pick up on your point there. is that people who are going through weight control issues in their life, and they have a partner, they're going to succeed better. They're going to do it faster. They're going to do it better and more in a healthy way than if you go alone. So really the message, is if you're going through a tough time in your life, surround yourself with people who appreciate what you're going through because they went through it, or they're going through it now with you. And you'll do better, they will do better, and it'll be a more successful relationship.
That sounds great. Now, what is wonderful is all of this is in this book that you have written?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Achieving and Living a Healthy Lifestyle in a World of Stress. Now, this is wonderful because all the things he's saying today, you can get this book and really have it broken down and just enjoy it, and maybe it sets you off on doing something about your health.
There you are.
So,
I wrote the book with this idea in mind, that it's important to achieve a lifestyle that's healthy, but it's more important to maintain it.
right.
You say, like a diet. We can go on a diet, we lose weight, and then we put it all back on. I mean, that's not healthy. It's not good for your heart, not good for your mind, not good for your brain. It's not a good way to live. So it's not only achieving a healthy lifestyle, but maintaining it. So that's kind of the title of the book, but the book was written kind of from that, context as well.
And is this the first book you've written?
No, I have 9.
No,
I have 9 books that I've written.
Books.
And this is kind of one of them, but I have a variety of topics, and I have another one coming out soon on the life of Jonathan Edwards.
Oh.
And from the 1700s, and so that'd be my next one. So you'll appreciate.
So
thinking about that one.
You had to be a writer from the time you were little, or what?
Well, it's an interesting story because when I was in, I think 5th grade, 6th grade, I had a teacher that every day gave us a writing assignment. She called it kind of a creative writing assignment, and I learned to write. And I still remember that she gave me positive feedback about my writing. Now, I'm not written over the years. I mean, I have, obviously from my education, I had to do a lot of writing and that kind of thing, but not books and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Until somewhat more recently. And but I always remember that I was encouraged to be a writer because she thought I had skill of writing. So I started writing, and now I'm on my 9th book.
That's great. And did you have to have any training on how to do it, or you just get in there and do it?
Just part of my education, as obviously as a PhD degree in psychology, you do a lot of writing, and you learn to write, and you learn how to publish, and that kind of thing. And I've written a lot of books. I've written probably 175 articles in my field of psychology, and now 9 books, and so I've done some writing. But it all comes from that teacher, and that's the interesting thing about it. It was an elementary school teacher, and let's give them 3 cheers, if you will, because that's where a lot of that comes from.
It's wonderful. Well, I really had done just little articles or something until I went to a junior college class on women in American history. This teacher was so excited about her subject. She was just, these women, and nobody knows about them. They don't put them in the history books. And for some reason, I said, I'm supposed to write a book about it. And it somehow just turned into 4 volumes. But
it's addictive.
It is.
It kind of leads one to the other, and to the next one, to the next one. I find myself finishing a book and having already started the next one. And then kind of thinking about the next one.
Well, it's wonderful having you this morning,
hey, good.
Doctor.
Nice to
and I've
meet
enjoyed
you,
it so
Carol,
much hearing about
yes,
your book.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.